Hey everyone, this is Kiana here. The Super Bowl number 60 brought a lot of perspective, a lot of live color, excitement in this football season. Um, I do have to say that it was very different, and it was one because there was other Super Bowls performances that was more watched, but this one was one of the most watched Super Bowl of all time. And I know everybody all week has been talking about it because Bad Bunny didn't only do a Super Bowl and gave us a performance and gave us a song and told a story, but he also told a political story. He told history. He told a story of what it took, what America is. And yes, he was right. From Canada to Argentina, it is all America, North, Central, and South America, and we are all American. So basically, it's like he was trying to show not only different skin colors, perspectives, different aspects of the Latin world, the fact that the sugarcane industry had really propelled this place. Then he went on to showcase the linemen, the people that fixed the grid, the electricity grid. It was just really, really rich in so much stories. He had a wedding, a couple that had invited him to their wedding, and he instead asked them to be a part of his Super Bowl performance. So yes, he also had a real wedding showing life, love, working hard, and all the facts. And he basically just said, we are all human, we are all America, and we all benefit from loving one another. And it was sort of a song about unity. And man, I was shouting because he not only had the Canadian flags, he had all the Caribbean flags, and then he had the Central and South American flags. He had the right shade of blue for the Puerto Rican flag. That was before the United States had made Puerto Rico change that shade of blue, the pastel blue, to the navy blue to match the rest of the United States flag. And Lady Gaga wore a dress that reflected the pastel blue color. And it was just like, there's just so many aspects of that Super Bowl that it not only told a story, it was also a rebuke. Okay, guys? Bad Bunny's performance was not only showcasing just entertainment and telling a historical and political story, it was also a rebuke to all these crazy people out there that wanted to talk all their nonsense and try to say, their version of America, whether it's great or not, and all this stuff. And it was wonderful. Everybody felt seen. Everyone. He even showcased different aspects of himself. Different aspects, such as him having the Grammy, and then he had a young boy where he gave actual Grammy award for the young boy to hold during the performance. It was just so many messages, and it was entertaining. And he did the performance in strictly Spanish. And I got the point. You didn't need the performance in English. Everybody was like, oh, it needs to be in English. No. He spoke in Spanish, and that was correct. Anyway, guys, here are some perspectives on the Super Bowl and what people thought and what that meant to them.
Bad Bunny also honored Black people and Black culture within his halftime Super Bowl performance. So clap it up. Clap it up for Bad Bunny, because this Super Bowl performance was art, okay? It was storytelling. It was visuals. There was so much going on that I think went over people's heads, and they just wanted to just go off and complain. Black does not just mean African American. So let's go ahead and get that out of the way, because Puerto Rico itself has such a rich history. Like, there's so many different people and cultures and skin tones. Like, this was not an accident. The sugarcane was not an accident. The people of different skin colors was not an accident. The different hair textures was not an accident. I mean, the reggaeton, the Jamaican feels, the Haitian feels, the Puerto Rican feels, obviously. Like, there's so much embedded within Black and brown culture that should be represented more and should be known and identified. Like, we're not too far off. Sometimes it's like we're two sides of the same coin. And I think the unity that he showed within this performance was just amazing.
I gotta take a deep inhale before I say this. Bad Bunny's performance at the halftime show wasn't bad. Y'all either just didn't like it because it's just not your thing, or, ooh, that hurt, or you're racist. Because here's my thing. I really feel like it was good. The storytelling was there. Honestly, the stage presence was there. Like the whole performance was not that bad. Like, I was watching it the whole time, and I was like, okay, Bad Bunny, do your thing, whatever. But I mean, like, obviously, it might not be our thing because you don't understand, Spanish. You're not fluent in Spanish. You don't know what he's saying. And I can get that. Because, like, if you know what he's saying, obviously you're going to be like, yeah, the whole time. Because you probably listen to this music on top of that. But, it just might not be your thing. And that's cool. But one thing you can't say that performance was trash. Because it definitely was not. It definitely was not trash. It definitely wasn't. Now, back to the racist people that I have to address. Y'all said that Bad Bunny shouldn't have performed on the halftime show because he's not American in your eyes, when I don't know how when Puerto Rico is a whole U.S. territory. It is a whole U.S. territory. But that's another story. I'm just saying, like, just because they're Hispanic does not mean they deserve any kind of backlash for performing at the halftime show. Because, first of all, where was this energy when Shakira and J-Lo performed at the halftime show, like, literally 10, 15 years ago? Where was the outrage then? Y'all be picking and choosing because now y'all feel like y'all can be more outright racist because of the orange Grinch that looks like a corn husk being in office. Let's not pretend that performance was bad. Bad Bunny's performance was not bad. Y'all are just racist as fuck. And I'm literally seeing people like, oh, we'd rather see Chris Brown. No, y'all rather just listen to a language that y'all understand. Which is fine. I only listen to music that's in English. I don't listen to Bad Bunny's music. But every time a Hispanic friend put Bad Bunny on, let's not act like I don't be shaking my ass. I be shaking my ass sometimes. Like, you can't say the music is bad. There was a whole Latin thing craze in the early 2000s, and it kind of became a thing again, like in the late 2010s, like 2018, 2019. So let's not act like y'all don't like non-white music, because y'all do. Y'all just don't like the fact that he's speaking out against ICE and that he's standing up for what he believes in. But why can't he stand up for what he believe in? Y'all stand up for what y'all believe in, so why can't he stand up for what he believe in? That don't make no sense. But the ICE conversation, whole other thing that I'm gonna talk about. But no, like, you cannot tell me that Bad Bunny's performance literally just encompassed, like, Hispanic culture in multiple different avenues. And he's showcasing, like, hey, we belong in America too, because let's be real. America would not be America without black people, without Latin people, without people of color. The United States really wouldn't be no fucking where. Like, it literally wouldn't be shit. So, let's not act like y'all are not racist. Y'all are racist! Y'all are racist! And it's okay. Because y'all can be racist and look stupid all you want to. And I just need that to be clear that either the performance was not for you, but you can still acknowledge that the performance was decent, it was good, or you're racist. Because you saying the performance is bad, bitch. You saying Bad Bunny's performance was bad, you're racist. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a shit. If y'all can sit up and listen to Shakira say, oh there, oh there, oh there, oh there, oh there, oh there. Y'all can listen to Bad Bunny speaking Spanish. Bitch. Y'all didn't understand Shakira half the fucking time. Oh, it's because of the climate. The climate is what's making y'all mad. It's what's making y'all be audacious in this bitch. Ugh, sorry, I get passionate about this kind of stuff because why? But yeah, that's my TED Talk of the day. Bottom line is, either the performance wasn't for you, but you can still acknowledge it was good, or you're a racist. You can't have both. You can't have both. And for the bitches that say that it's un-American, go to jail. Just go to jail. I don't even want to talk to you. I don't even want to speak to you. I don't want to look at you. I don't want to be in the same atmosphere as you. I don't want to breathe the same air. I don't want to look at the same shit as you. Go to jail. Damn.
I had people speak to me that said I didn't understand one word that he said, and I completely got this entire story from front to back. If you're trying to pay attention, the same thing I kind of said about Kendrick last year. Like, I wasn't blown away by his music choice, but the story that he told, I felt like was an important one. Mm-hmm. And this Bad Bunny story, especially the afterward breakdowns of all the things that I maybe even missed in real time. But
tons of symbolism.
But a lot of it, I didn't. I'm from New York.
Yeah, word.
New Jersey, you people that ain't from up here. Oh, I could walk to New York. Shut up.
Right.
I could ride a bike to fucking, I could power walk over there. Anyway, I just think it was really easy to understand if you sat there and tried. And again, like I said earlier in this part, some of y'all don't have speakers hooked up to your shit. some of y'all TVs tiny with the bad sound coming out. Like, I immediately, if you just turn it up, if all you had to do was hit volume.
This in no way meant patriotism and love of America as a country. Actually, let's play a game. I'm gonna tell you all the real symbolic cultural moments as a Boricua, including what this one was about, and I want you to tell me in the comments how many you got right. Now let's begin where it all started. We see the Jíbaro, the traditional Puerto Rican countryman with the pava, the straw hat, saying,
Qué rico es el latino. Hoy se ve!
and interestingly enough, he starts by setting the precedent that all of this is going to be in Spanish because he says Benito Antonio Martínez Ocasio, his full government name, presents el espectáculo de medio tiempo del Supertazón, the spectacle of the halftime of the Super Bowl, all in Spanish. And if you look at the backdrop, you will see the sugarcane plantations, which in Puerto Rico were the backbone of the island's colonial economy, heavily dependent on enslaved African labor, particularly during the 19th century sugar boom. In the very next frames, we see Bad Bunny turned around before he reveals himself, and he's wearing a 64 on his football jersey. 64 was the number the Trump administration gave out as the number of people who died after Hurricane Maria, but the actual death toll by that time was actually 1,052. Then we see Bad Bunny walk around the sugarcane plantation, showing us very historical and cultural markers of Puerto Rican culture, like for example, the coconut stand, which historically coconuts provided subsistence for Puerto Rican workers and were considered a vital tree of life for supplying water, food, and oil. The abundance of coconut palms allowed them to become a staple for local businesses. Roadside coconut vendors became a staple of Puerto Rican culture, particularly in coastal areas offering fresh, chilled coconuts with the tops cut off. Then he walks by the table of father, uncles, and grandfathers playing dominoes, which in Puerto Rico, dominoes, or el dominó, is more than just a game. It is a cherished cultural staple, social ritual, and symbol of community that bridges generations together through strategy and storytelling. He then walks by badass Puerto Rican women doing construction, which represents badass Puerto Rican women who shouldn't be underestimated because they also do manual labor, like construction, very subversive to the patriarchy. Then he walks by a piragua cart. Now, piraguas are more than just a shaved ice dessert in Puerto Rico. They're actually a cultural icon, a symbol of nostalgia and a staple of island life. Brought to places like New York City during the Great Migration in the 1940s, piraguas symbolized the adaptability and endurance of Puerto Rican culture in new environments. But then we see him walk by a taco cart, but not just any taco cart. This is an actual taco cart in California called the Villas Taco Cart. The business owner, Victor, who started the business out of his grandmother's home kitchen 8 years ago, now has 3 locations around California. And this shows Bad Bunny has a commitment to supporting local small businesses over big corporations. After he visits the taco cart, we do see him ducking under boxers as he continues singing. Often considered one of the best boxing nations pound for pound, Puerto Rico has produced over a dozen Hall of Fame inductees, and in 2004, it became the first territory to have champions in all 17 traditional weight divisions. Boxing is deeply ingrained in society, and it serves as a pathway for and reflection of the island's warrior spirit. Then we see the famous casita that we were introduced to at the residency in Puerto Rico. It serves as a cultural anchor representing home, community, and the Marquesina party culture. The Marquesina is an open-air garage where people meet, greet, and talk for hours all day. And yes, Black Afro-Puerto Rican representation was brought to the forefront at the casita because Black Puerto Ricans very much exist, take up space, and are family, no matter how much white supremacy doesn't like the fucking idea. And the same goes for queer and gay representation. We exist, live, laugh, and our gay joy is also resistance and revolutionary. But then to the melody of Monaco, he tells us that he made it to Super Bowl 60 because he believed in himself. And then he reminds you, believe in yourself, because you will be able to achieve everything you want in life if you do so. From there, we go to the actual wedding that was real and officiated at the Super Bowl, which is iconic in and within itself, but is really about family and community and love. And then we reveal that Lady Gaga's in the motherfucking building, and not only in the building, but killed it. But this was also a culturally significant moment. Gaga is wearing a light blue dress, which is the correct kind of blue that goes onto the original Puerto Rican flag that people in Puerto Rico were killed and imprisoned for flying after the US passed La Ley de Mordaza, or the gag law of 1948. That light blue represents sovereignty and resistance. The current dark blue flag is supposed to resemble the blue on the American flag in support of furthering the aims of colonization supporting statehood. Gaga also accented her gown with a custom Flor de Maga corsage, official flower of Puerto Rico. After that, Bad Bunny falls back off of the building as a trust fall, to signify the bond of trust built on community and familial support that is so integral in Puerto Rican culture, as opposed to the American culture, which is toxically about rugged individualism. He's falling onto his people because he knows they will catch him, because we're all we have, and we are each other's safety net. And yes, that Puerto Rican community is built in and around the bodegas, the mini marts, the mom and pop restaurants, and the Puerto Rican barbershops and salons. At one point, he even gets a shot of coconut rum from a woman named Toñita, who he also has in his music. This is the actual Toñita, who is the owner of Brooklyn's Caribbean Social Club, one of the last surviving Puerto Rican social clubs in the city, and she is an iconic figure in New York, and there is a celebration in her honor every June 22nd. After that, Bad Bunny goes and gives his little boy self-representation, his grown-up self Album of the Year Grammy, and tells himself to always believe in himself, showing little Puerto Rican boys and Latino boys all around the diaspora that they should believe in themselves because they will go to extreme heights. Then he has a Jibaro playing the cuatro, introducing Ricky Martin singing Lo que le pasó a Hawaii from his DTMF album. This instrument, the cuatro, originated in 16th century with the Jibaros, and it is primarily used in música jíbara, evoking traditional country life. It is a symbol of Puerto Rican soul, resilience, and identity, often used in folk music and increasingly in modern genres. And then you tie the history of that instrument to Ricky Martin singing Lo que pasó a Hawaii, which is Bad Bunny's song, warning that he doesn't want the US to do to Puerto Rico what they did to Hawaii. The song serves as a political anthem and warning to Puerto Rico, comparing the two islands' shared experiences of colonization, displacement, rampant gentrification, and over-tourism. And he's singing in the scene of Bad Bunny's album cover, which already represents the story of how Puerto Ricans get in community with each other, sitting outside in the famous plastic white chairs, except on the album cover, they're empty. Just like this chair is, because of gentrification and that displacement. And it's actually poetic that Ricky Martin is then interrupted his singing by exploding light posts behind him, with Jibaros trying to fix them. Given the fact that Puerto Rico has a continually failing electric grid because the corrupt pro-statehood politicians do nothing about it. And it's interesting that you see the Jibaros, the country folk, the common men and women are the ones trying to fix the problems themselves, with no help or support from a governmental system. But Bad Bunny doesn't just stay on the ground singing to the camera his song El Apagón, which is really about the consistent blackouts that plague Puerto Rico. Because him on the ground having the Puerto Rican flag and singing directly to the camera demonstrates his world-facing advocacy and him using his platform to bring attention to the issue. But there's a point where he puts the flag down and climbs to the top of the light post himself to demonstrate his commitment to our people. He's saying, I will be in the trenches fixing this and in any one of our problems because we do this together. Community is central to this theme. But then we get to where we started. Bad Bunny looks at the football and he said, God bless America.
God bless America.
And people who know English specifically heard that and said, yes, he's being nationalistic and patriotic because he is American. Yes, stick it to the man. You're Puerto Rican. You're a citizen. But then they didn't hear the part right after that. Because right after he said, God bless America, he said a Spanish word, sea.
God bless America. Sea Chile, Argentina.
Sea is a Spanish word that means be it. So when he said, God bless America, sea, and then lists all the countries located in the continents of the Americas, plural, what he's saying is that when we talk about America, we have to decenter the United States. He begins by listing countries geographically under the equator to the top, from the continent of South America, stops at Mexico, shifts to the Caribbean, then all the way to the top of North America with US and then Canada, framing the Americas in a way that has never been done before in a very subversive and revolutionary way, and then ends by centering Puerto Rico. So what he's saying is that together we are America, including all of the countries historically marginalized and neglected. It was a fuck you to the United States.
Let me tell y'all something about the halftime show. I didn't understand a damn word, and I loved every single second of it because inclusion don't need a translation. All I saw was culture running around that field. I saw pride. I saw the true America, an America that's multicultural, that is multilingual, that is unapologetic. Bad Bunny didn't perform. He reminded us all that the country don't belong to one language, one look, or one group of people. It belongs to all of us. Now, MAGA was over there watching the Temu patriotism concert the Turning Point USA had over there fighting for their lives just to get the stream to work, licensing issues and glitching, all of that just to hear pedo lyrics from Kid Rock. Okay. Donald Trump has already blasted on Truth Social, saying that it was one of the worst halftime performances ever. That's just because his mind is not big enough to comprehend the nuance and beauty of our differences. We all know why he's truly upset, and we still don't give a damn. If diversity ruined the game for you, don't worry. There's plenty of racist reruns from 1955 waiting for you somewhere. Muchas gracias, Bad Bunny! Wepa!
Also, it was pretty interesting that, you know, in as much as his Super Bowl performance was about, what, roughly about 13 minutes, usually the Super Bowl would run, it's because they give you half an hour, right? Because like a halftime show, and usually performances would be about 20-25 minutes. His one was kind of squashed to like 13-15 minutes because of security concerns. Like, even when he was performing, his team felt like there was threats. They had actual death threats, and so he had a bulletproof vest underneath, for which, you know, so that, you know, in the event the unthinkable happens, there is some sort of recourse. And he was constantly moving. All the time he constantly was moving. He went up here, jumped up on the roof, jumped down through the house, ran through the sugarcane fields, then climbed on the pole. He was constantly moving because they told him, look, you can't just stand still because of all these death threats. These people, you know, they wanted to wrap it up short. So yeah, you know, his performance was very short, and it seemed rushed. It didn't seem rushed to me, but a lot of people thought that it seemed rushed because he had to reduce the time of his exposure. Anyway, guys, let us discuss in these comments. What is your perspective of the Super Bowl? What did it mean to you? Which country are you from? Put your flag in the comments below. Put your flag down there and say, hey, did you see your flag? What did it mean to you? Everybody's going ballistic because you know what? He also pulled out Ricky Martin, y'all. When he pulled out Ricky Martin, everybody was like, Ricky! Yeah, it was it was a lot. Yeah, so just let me know in the comments and we can continue the discussion from there. But yeah, people are going to remember the Super Bowl for a very long time.